it's pretty amazing. Laura is an intern at Kempinski, not connected to a hotel school, but just loves hospitality. So I think, Laura, you need to talk to Paul. Paul is one of the heroes in the region, running Row of Hotels with a beautiful team. It's a little bit different than Kempinski, but try both and then you make up your mind. We were in Kempinski yesterday, and it's nice. What we talk about is really what drives hospitality. I mean, if we want to go beyond, what do we want to go beyond is not telling people after COVID, you see country after country tell people to go back to work. I know in hospitality we need them anyways, but how do we want them? Is it because they need to be there because this is what we do? Or is it because they choose to be there? So how do we go beyond traditional people management, traditional org charts? Hans, you know how that works. Paul, you know how that works. And Mo, you know, Christina. I mean, we inverted the org chart for a reason. Satisfied stakeholders. We want to go beyond satisfaction. So not satisfied guests, not satisfied customers. We want to have fans for life. So beyond, let's return to people. Let's reverse the people cycle. Let's invert the org chart. And let's make sure that we create fans for life. Be it the Lauras, joiners, new joiners in the hospitality, be it our guests or even our stakeholders, financial stakeholders. So why now and why does this matter for investors? And maybe more than ever. I think super relevant to notice is that something is happening in the region, but I think across the world, when we develop, let's take a look.
New destinations and
And then we need
experiences
sound.
are being created continuously. Yet many lack soul, with the main focus being purely transactional. People are not fans, just customers. By focusing on the delivery of meaningful experiences, we turn people into lifetime fans. Consistently delivering these experiences drives brand and property value. And it all starts with putting people and culture first. It's the foundation of everything. After all, people are the experience, and the experience is the marketing.
No brainer, right? I mean, people come back for people. I mean, even if you build a beautiful destination, beautiful hotel, beautiful brand, and you like it, but nothing happens between two people, individuals, then you tick the box, you've been there, you've done it, you got the t-shirt, and you move on. But if something happens, and maybe it's not the most beautiful hotel, but something happens between people, you want to come back for that person. And I have a nice example from Simon Sinek when he talks about Noah. I don't know if you know it, but it's beautiful. I think it's illustrative for how our business should be. So last week I saw David Turnbull posting on, it's more than square meters. We should not look at spaces, but the future of hospitality is all about networking. It's all about connecting. It's about communities. You want to know, like a community expert, Hans, I think you know probably better than anybody at FHS. If you look at luxury trends in hospitality, you saw Hospitality Net 2 weeks ago posting, it's all about, I'm not even sure if it's shifting. I think it's happening already for probably a decade. But we need to think in terms of meaningful experiences, personalized, purpose-driven. You saw Jonathan yesterday talk about there is a shift from counting rooms to counting relationships. And I think so true. So what I'd love to do with you is take 3 minutes, think back, what was a recent memorable experience, and you decide where. It could be like one was yesterday, last night, Shimmers, I mean the staff, like one after the other, surprisingly connecting, outgoing, proactive. I think, Chris, not everybody likes it, but it's but that's also good, right? That's what a good brand defines, is that you have lovers and maybe not so lovers. It's definitely not vanilla. So for me, it was like one after the other making a difference in terms of proactivity, generosity, beautiful. What was it for you? Could be on an airplane, could be when you booked a ticket, could be when you had a conversation with a chatbot, like you said this morning, which was surprisingly good. So tell me, what was a recent good experience? Or not tell me, tell your neighbors. You don't know each other, so that's good. Take 3 minutes and then we'll talk about it. So we can.
In a versus I watched your name for okay for is the and then I started throwing like curveball questions at him. Yeah. I was like, oh, but I work for Rove, and is there any chance that we can get a discount because I'm in hospitality? It's like, oh, I love Rove too, and you know you're a cool lifestyle brand, blah 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 blah.
Nice.
And it didn't say no to the discount, but it clearly didn't give me one, right? So it was like, we'd love to have all the Rove team come with us, blah blah blah. I found that quite thing to the point that I actually signed. I got hold of the bot. I found it within the bot, got hold of it. It's live on Rove. Oh yeah, it's like So we're testing it now.
So we started 2 minutes late. I'm taking 1 minute back, if that's okay. What I'd like to ask is one or two highlights. Dora. And Frédéric, can you ask for another mic, like handheld? So, oh, you have one. Thank you, Laura. Super. Dora, you have an example? Tell me. Did I catch the right one?
It's a panel discussion.
So I'm new here. I heard a beautiful experience from Lana. But she asked me who is the most person that he leaves an experience when you met him. Honestly, he is Rabia. Rabia, why? Because I told her because he is more adventurous than me. You know, I am Arnaoun owner, so we did a lot in Lebanon, a country with a lot of challenges this past years. But I believe that Rabia encouraged me, and he is the reason why I'm here today. And he encouraged me to come, to dream, to build connection. He is really a believer in Lebanon, in the future, and you know that very well. So I'm so blessed to meet that person.
So am I. So thank you, shukran. No, I share that feeling, Rabia. On this side, Chris, ladies first. If I caught you there, right?
It's actually not my experience, Mohammed's experience. It was the girl at the event, one of the waitress. She was like really lovely, very smiley, and then you could see the difference between her and the rest of the crew. And then he asked her if she really works for Jumeirah at the brand, like not the outsourced stuff, and she was working. Like you could tell that she's very customer friendly, very genuinely like want to deliver a good experience. So yeah, she made our day. I would say that she was very lovely.
Lovely.
You want to offer her job right now? Yes.
Can you give it back to Laura? So, who says the example that you shared was with stuff? It was about stuff, buildings. Or who says it was about people? It's 99 out of 100 times. Probably your case discount, but 99.
I'm the biggest fan of people.
No, I know you are. So it's so often it's people that make or break the experience, and you can tell it was the girl, right? It's your first words. So people really, and that's why engagement, culture, and leadership is so important. Make or break the experience, make or break brand value. So we need to think beyond hardware, like the tangible hardware, and start thinking more about this hardware. So how do we actually really enthuse teams? So the bad news is there is a global challenge. And Paul, we talked about this in Riyadh. Global challenge is that we know that people are decisive for success. But if you look at the engagement around the world, we can actually tell that only 21% is truly engaged. The vast majority is not engaged or actively disengaged. The good news is UAE is a bit higher. So we have 29, KSA we have 28% engagement. So that's relatively good, but the vast majority, it's still consisting of shift survivors. People that do not really do more than just the job. They do the task. Also in the region, important, daily stress is higher, daily anger is higher, and hence the overall well-being is lower. So I think it's an interesting combination. If you look at the cost of disengagement in the region alone, 10 billion in lost, let's say, return on investment. So we need to make sure that people have a purpose, that brands have a purpose that people want to contribute to, that creates, let's say, more engagement, leading to a better performance, leading to a better experience, and as a result, more brand value. No brainer, I think. So if you want to have destinations coming to life, be it a hotel or be it a region or be it a country, you want to make sure that you start with purpose, get the identity right and the experience right. So it's really time to think reverse. So let's take a look.
Focus on products and services, then optimize processes and appoint managers and supervisors who create a certain working climate, which impacts how people behave and in the end what customers and guests experience. We call this traditional thinking. Let's do this a little differently and flip things around by thinking reverse. This starts with defining the experience you want your customers or guests to have. Not as a lucky result at the end, but as a conscious design, right from the start. An experience that aligns with your brand's purpose and identity. From there, we ask, what kind of behavior and interaction creates that experience? What kind of working climate facilitates that behavior? And what kind of leadership helps shape that environment? If you think reverse, process and product optimization comes last, not first.
Makes sense, right? And of course the product is super important. But how do you position that product? It's all related to purpose, identity and experience. So, and Hans, Paul, you know, we do normally have a longer approach to this, but can I ask you a question? Just close your eyes. You remember Dora? Close your eyes for a moment, just 5 seconds, and point out, just imagine that one of your friends is asking, where are we heading? And you're saying, we're heading north. Can you do me a favor and head out where you think is north? Close your eyes, yes? Point out where is north. Where do you think is north? And then please keep pointing and open your eyes. Look around. Tell me, what do you see? Well, I mean, behind you, they are going exactly the other way around. So what happens if we're not on a similar north? If we don't have the same north? Take for Kempinski, for Rove, for Zoko, for Anoon Village. I mean, if you don't have one common north, what happens? You're lost, right? And you know, and maybe you can still have a lot of fun and you can burn a lot of energy, but it doesn't really move the needle in terms of guest engagement. So having one common north is crucial. This is why we created like compasses with the permission of Rolf. Thank you. Where you have a combination of connecting purpose and identity to how do we want to be experienced, and then each experience translated into what interaction brings that experience, what working climate leads to that interaction, and what leadership builds that culture. Same for airlines or retailers or entire destinations. This is Red Sea as a community. And you have it with you. Thank you. The Rolf print as a compass to make sure that everybody, you have it, thank you Mo, you know that everybody has the same common north, crucial. So also important, if you want to build the best brands or the best destination, you want to have the best people, right Mo? You want to be really exceptional. So building, this is Marjan, the Win, you can build beautiful buildings, beautiful destinations. You can create like the new Moraba with the Mukab, like incredible structures. You could have big destinations, or maybe just simply a beautiful brand like Zoku. It's all about people. People making places. People making destinations. People are the experience, and the experience is their marketing. So we need to go beyond SOPs and make sure that people understand, so what's our purpose? How do we bring it to life? So how do we actually, like we did with your family, your team, how do we make it special? And it's not by following SOPs all the time. So it's about creating a culture where people feel totally empowered to live that brand, to bring that identity to life. It's about personality, how people behave, basically how we treat each other and what holds everything together. So that culture is crucial. And then having an immersive culture means I need to also think in terms of inverting that org chart. Because I think Michael Levy can tell like nobody else, we see most organizations structured like this. But let's have a look. And then we hear Michael with his vision on how to invert the org chart.
Ultimately, it is the guest, in our view, that is decisive in everything we do. And the board at the top and the guest don't get to meet. And why is the guest on top of that pyramid is because they ultimately pay. So instead of having the pyramid like this, we turned it around. And by having the pyramid like this, the ambassador is at the top, right close to the guest. And that inverse pyramid allows us to be effective where it counts. So a guest never has to wait for an issue to be resolved because the ambassador is empowered to do so. So it is a different view whereby support is provided, and that's why that culture is so important.
Makes sense? And I think, Hans, you know, we started 18 years ago with that principle. Like really thinking like a no-brainer. I mean, if somebody is owning our brand, it's the frontliner, it's the Laura joining as an intern at Kempinski with 2 months of experience. But for me, you are the brand. It's not Anthony Shaw that I mentioned, who is somewhere in the headquarters. I'm interacting with you. Crucial. So we need to go beyond traditional management. We need to think in terms of epic leadership, whereby our leaders are truly empowering, are purpose-driven, are inspiring, and coaching our teams in every interaction. And this is where Simon Sinek talks about Noah, which I think is a beautiful example of how leaders can also make or break, let's say, a culture. Let's have a look.
A true story. A few months ago, I stayed at the Four Seasons in Las Vegas. It is a wonderful hotel. And the reason it's a wonderful hotel is not because of the fancy beds. Any hotel can go and buy a fancy bed. The reason it's a wonderful hotel is because of the people who work there. If you walk past somebody at the Four Seasons and they say hello to you, you get the feeling that they actually wanted to say hello to you. It's not that somebody told them that you have to say hello to all the customers, say hello to all the guests, right? You actually feel that they care. Now, in their lobby, they have a coffee stand. And one afternoon, I went to buy a cup of coffee, and there was a barista by the name of Noah who was serving me. Noah was fantastic. He was friendly and fun, and he was engaging with me, and I had so much fun buying a cup of coffee, I actually think I gave 100% tip, right? He was wonderful. So as is my nature, I asked Noah, do you like your job? And without skipping a beat, Noah says, I love my job. And so I followed up. I said, what is it that the Four Seasons is doing that would make you say to me, I love my job? And without skipping a beat, Noah said, throughout the day, managers will walk past me and ask me how I'm doing, if there's anything that I need to do my job better. He said, not just my manager, any manager. And then he said something magical. He says, I also work at Caesar's Palace. And at Caesar's Palace, the managers are trying to make sure we're doing everything right. They catch us when we do things wrong. He says, when I go to work there, I like to keep my head under the radar and just get through the day so I can get my paycheck. He says, here at the Four Seasons, I feel I can be myself. Same person, entirely different experience from the customer who will engage with Noah. So we in leadership are always criticizing the people. We're always saying, we've got to get the right people on the bus. I've got to fill my team. I've got to get the right people. But the reality is, it's not the people. It's the leadership. If we create the right environment, we will get people like Noah at the Four Seasons. If we create the wrong environment, we will get people like Noah at Caesar's Palace.
Pretty cool, right? You recognize it? Same Noah. But it's all about thinking, to what extent are we truly inspiring? The hard fact is that 70% of leaders think they are inspiring, whereby 82% think of it. 82% of their teams fundamentally disagree. Houston, we got a problem. So also I think it's cool to think beyond traditional training, and I have a little challenge in mind for you, which is all about reverse learning. So we should think more in terms of making people do stuff instead of making people learn stuff and understand. I don't know, I mean, I'm probably the oldest in the room, but I mean, we're pretty close, I think. Yeah. Oh, you beat, okay. So what I think we learned at school very much at the foundation is to remember stuff, understand stuff, apply maybe a little, but we were not allowed to create. So if you reverse the learning, you get exactly the same order, but top down. So let's create stuff and then evaluate. So, what did we just do? Remember with the immersion at Citizen M, we sent people with no hospitality experience on day one on the streets to apply an idea that they have. How can we really surprise our guests? So they came with ideas, and then we said, okay, now go try on complete strangers on the street. And they were scared shitless. Like, really? Now? I did it with Japanese in IKEA, in Tsuruhama in Japan. We did it with American in St. Petersburg. They could not speak the language. So they had to find a way to connect with complete strangers other than through language. And it worked. So once you've done something and you feel, hey, I can do it, they actually came back super excited. We can do this. So what we do when reverse learning is really make sure that people feel connected, that we build the right context. Why are we here? Who are we? If I'm a sidekick at Zoku or I'm a roaster, what does that really mean? So having that, then we apply the learning experience. We call it EIA, we experience. What are the insights? And then how can we put that to work? So how do we act upon it? So here's the challenge, if you're up to it. I dare you. We call it the Spaghetti Tower Challenge. Frederic, can you prepare the stations? We'll have teams that are going to build, this is by the way, published by Harvard Business Review. So it's a serious challenge. You get 20 pieces of spaghetti. You get 1 meter of rope. Hans, you've seen it. 1 meter of rope. You have 1 meter of tape and 1 marshmallow and a pair of scissors. I think we'll see. You decide if you want to do it with 2 or 3 or 4 or 6. It's your call. You have 10 minutes and the rules are right here. The structure must be freestanding, so you cannot hold it. So it must be freestanding. Second, the marshmallow must be placed on the top and it cannot be divided. So you cannot cut the marshmallow, so it needs to be as one piece on the top. And the tallest structure, we have a measuring stick. It's 1 meter. I don't think we'll make that. But the tallest structure wins. Hans, was it fun when we did this in January? It was fun, huh? So can I challenge you? Make your teams, 10 minutes. I'll put the clock as soon as you're at the table. Do we have the spaghetti on there? Frederic? I don't see the spaghetti. Can you do it, please? Yeah, she's going to divide it. Good luck, teams!
Last time it was just a paper, Andrew. I'm just going to say that. Next time you decide.
A little bit more, yes. 2 more minutes. One minute 15. Laura measures. It's definitely taller. All right, half a minute. Thirty seconds. All right, Rabia, ready to measure? Okay, let's do the measurement. Laura, where are you? ¿Dónde estás, Laura? Ah, aquí. ¿Cuántos centímetros tenemos aquí? Allí? They haven't finished? This is how much? How tall? You're cheating. 50. Okay, can we have applause for team 1 with 50 centimeters? All right. Then let's go to Lana and team. How many centimeters do you have? How many centimeters? It's getting lower by the minute. Okay, but the idea was good. Applause for the creativity. Well done. Rabia and team. Laura, do the measurements because we need to move on. Laura, can you measure even if they hold it? It's fine. All right. Have a seat. Then let's talk about this. Well done. So, Rabia, time's up. Sorry. Have a seat. We talk about this, we evaluate, and then we wrap up. Eternal fame. Dora, can we have a seat, evaluate? Because this is annoying, right? That you think we can be super fast and get this done, easy peasy. But guess what? So how was this as an experience? Challenging? Fun? Teamwork? Yes? You need to have a strategy. By the way, your team had the best, I think, approach because what did you do? You started with the top, the marshmallow first, and then you build up from there, and then you turn it around. So that's a good strategy. In your case, you won because the others were, let's say, not going up. But with your structure, you probably wouldn't have got it, let's say, way higher. The beautiful part is the average in inches. So the average is about 50 plus centimeters. But guess who did this the best in terms of occupations? Tell me. What kind of people would be best? What do you think? I'm going to make you happy. It's the CEOs and architects and executive assistants, of course, who do best. But look at this. Kindergarten did better than most people who did this test. Again, this is a scientific test. To be fair, in reality, people had 5 minutes more, but the idea was the same. Why does kindergarten do so well? Because they think more liberated, they think more, let's say, logical, less restrained by previous experience. They just start doing stuff. That's, I think, doing stuff in the right flow. We learn by doing and then reflect on, so what did we just learn and how can we apply that? So going to the wrap up, what we also need to do, not only have a different way of training or educating our people, we need to have like a completely different people cycle. So instead of from hiring to quitting or firing, how about making sure we attract the right profile? So we have this blueprint or we have this identity, the DNA of people we're looking for. So how can we attract, how can we fish in the right ponds or pools where the people are that have the optimal match with our brand DNA? So from attract to cast, and basically this is Red Sea. Red Sea, nobody knew the destination in Saudi Arabia. It really, literally was desert on the Saudi side, and it turned it into a beautiful destination. Rabia, you can tell, one of the leaders from Red Sea, who had the confidence of working with us. Beautiful. But look at what we created in terms of showing how would life be if I join Red Sea. It's desert now, not anymore, but when we created the video, it's desert now. How will life be? Because I want to have, for the best destination, you want to have the best talents. So have a look.
Looking beyond is the essence of what we do. The destination needs to be discovered beyond stereotypes. I think it also reflects the level of ambition that the generation of young Saudis and colleagues joining us from around the world who really want to contribute something special. So, looking beyond 5 years ago is getting us to where we are today.
This part of the world is moving at such a velocity. We're going to learn a lot from the new generation here, the younger generation. And it's exciting. And I also think that there's no restrictions. The sky's the limit.
There is this genuine excitement of being a part of something this fundamentally transformative.
It's truly amazing to see, how much the country has come so far. I think what makes this particular destination exceptional is the people.
So you're proud, Rabia, to see this again? Beautiful, eh? I think it's super important to immerse people in what's life gonna be. When I join Anaun, when I join Rove, it's not about what do others tell, but it's really about what do I feel. And you can do it pre-onboarding, pre-immersion already. And then obviously the next step after attracting the right people, potential colleagues, you can actually then decide, so how do we cast them? How do we cast for the right talents? Organize, let's say, workshops that basically put people in a completely out of context situation that they know. But if you want to be surprising, connecting, touching, and real, like Citizen M wants to be, then you want to have people that are naturally surprising, connecting, touching, and are real. And if you then have managers that set them up for success and don't tell them what to do, they will surprise, they will connect, they will touch, and they will be real. So then you can actually create your immersion, like we're doing with Rove. Beautiful that you actually make sure, that's a few years ago, right? You actually set them up for success, immerse them in the brand, and this is a 4 weeks program. People that never worked in hospitality, and after 4 weeks are a brand ambassador. So from attract to cast to immerse to grow to recognize, sustain, making sure that people, once they ever leave you, they leave as an ambassador, crucial. So think in reverse to go beyond satisfaction. We want to go beyond, let's say, satisfied guests. We want fans for life. So you want to be beyond meeting expectations and actually exceed them. Live the brand. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, our reverse approach would then be start at the top. That should be yours as well. Don't get hung up about getting the SOPs right first. but get this right first. So what is our purpose? What's our identity? What do we stand for? How do we actually empower the team to live that purpose? And then what do they need to meet expectations? And then last but not least, how can we make a process that is going to make it consistent? So in closing, a few takeaways. I think important to realize, and I think I'm preaching to the choir in several cases, people are the experience, and the experience is the marketing. Super important is that people make places. People make or break your brand, your destination. And I was a couple of weeks ago in Amsterdam, and I met Neil Pasricha at the Amsterdam Business Forum 2020-2025. Beautiful, beautiful forum. And Neil said, we grew up with the wrong concept. Like, if you work hard, you become successful, and if you're successful, you're happy. And I so agree, we need to turn that completely around and say, hey, if you want basically create happy coworkers, happy brand ambassadors, they will do great work for us, and hence they will be successful, we will be successful. So that's, he wrote a book called The Happiness Equation, that's the essence, and I loved it, and I thought it's so true. Simple, but true. So we need to think beyond hardware and start thinking about really hardware. How do we activate that? Transform square meters to meaningful experience, so really add value to every interaction. And making sure that you work with brand ambassadors, people you trust, people that you handpicked, that represent your brand in every step, that are epic leaders. And then EX equals CX/GX, what does it mean? The employee experience needs to equal the guest experience or the customer experience, because in many cases we do injustice to our teams. We ask them to be super connecting while we're not connecting with them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't work. It's an unfair game, really. So we need to give them what we want them to pass on. It's a law of nature. And then you can transform hotels to loved brands. Like we talked about Zoku, Rove, citizenM, and there are many more. Arnoon, I love. So we call it reverseology. In simple terms, I wrote 2 books about it. You have a bookmark. If you want to have a book, we're in stand 81, which is really 10 meters from here. Feel free to join us. I'm here tomorrow. I'm super glad that you actually made it here. I'm grateful. And I hope you had a good experience. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Laura, ¿qué hacemos? Thank you.